6:10. We've all been there, scrolling for hours, telling ourselves just one more post. But later you may feel like your attention span is shrinking. We're more distracted, more drained, and possibly our devices are to blame. So what is really going on? What are the hidden costs of our screen addiction, and what can we do about it? We're all about solutions, of course. So here to help us break down all of that is friend of the show, lifestyle author and wellbeing expert, Jess Stuart. Good morning, Jess. Lovely to see you again. All right, how do we reclaim our time and start rethinking how we have our screen time?
It's really difficult because we need our phones, right? And we need them for work and for life, and they are amazing in terms of what they can do, and there are these unintended consequences. So a lot of this is about reevaluating our relationship with them rather than putting them away for good, because that's not practical either. But that's easier said than done, because they're designed to distract us and hold our focus for as long as possible, and yeah, they are addictive.
Yeah, well, what is it about it that's giving us such a hard time with trying to balance social media and enjoying that, and that actually having a bit more mental stability?
Yeah, I think it is that hold of our focus and attention. So we might all remember going to look at something important and then an hour later wind up looking at lots of other things that perhaps are not so important. And that's how it works. And that's how these unintended consequences crop up.
All right. Do you think that people have all these sort of hidden obsessions? And what are some of the things that they can do to actually overcome it?
Yeah, I think this is the big one. There are so many actions we can take, and some of those exist within our phones, so our phones can help us. So things like monitoring our screen time usage and setting goals around that, app limits, so putting timers. So, okay, if there's a certain app, for me it's Instagram, certain app that sucks your attention, it's having a time limit on that, so it will remind you. And you can even get your phone to lock you out of an app after you've had what you deem enough time on it.
What is the reality for people that put those reminders? I recently put a reminder on Instagram, say after half an hour, to basically cut it off, give you the reminder. So 5 minutes before you've reached your daily limit, it gives you the warning, and I've felt quite ashamed when it comes up, so I'm quite good at putting it down. Is that typical? Does it work for people?
It can do, and it's just having that reminder, and I think that's being intentional. What happens with our devices is that often we are so lost in them, we lose track of time. So we're losing time, energy, focus. There are so many unintended consequences that then impact our mental health. But if we get that little tap on the shoulder through our phone that says, hey, do you really need to be looking at that? The same with when we remove our notifications. Instead of picking up our phone every time it makes a noise or vibrates or has a little red banner on it, we are only going to our phone when we need to, because we've not been distracted by a notification.
Is it about being a bit more intentional and actually doing a bit of an audit of your own working life on your phone?
Yeah, it definitely is, especially with when we're using our phones for work as well, because often those notifications and that distraction, we can be sat at home and it's work things that we're getting distracted by as well, right? So that's blurring the line then with our work-life balance.
You've got some easy hacks to manage your device. So notifications is one of them. What else have you got in terms of the hacks to try and combat this?
Yeah, I think having device-free times or areas in the house, this is a good one. So maybe it's I don't use my device after 9 p.m. at night so it doesn't distract my sleep, or maybe it's I don't have my device at the dinner table or in the bedroom. I think my encouragement to people is pick what works for you, but I think setting those parameters automatically means that we start to reduce our usage. And as soon as we start to track that with our screen time notifications on the app, on the phone, then we start to understand, because some of us were like, God, I'm using my phone for 4 hours every day.
Yeah.
What else could I be doing with those 4 hours? And what might be more reasonable for me? Maybe I want to reduce that by half and just have 2 hours a day.
I know it's kind of pervasive when it starts to move into watches, right? People have smart watches, so in fact they're kind of always looking at their watch, or if they've got a buzz, they're kind of connected that way.
Yeah.
Are there things that we can do, even just like getting a simple watch to try to disconnect a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I'm all in favour of that. I think our brains need that disconnection away from our devices, and we're so connected, we're almost over-connected, and our brains can't cope with being so digitally connected. And at the same time, we've become increasingly more lonely, right? Even though we're so connected all the time. And so all of these unintended consequences are leading us down this path where our relationship with our device is not a healthy one. And I always say, use it, but don't let it use you.
What you said about being distracted when you go on there for a certain purpose and then 10, 20 minutes later, you're actually thinking, what am I going there for? That is such an actual thing that happens, right?
Yes.
What is it about the device that kind of makes that permeate and happen all the time?
Yeah, everything about how it's made, right? To the colours and the sounds, but also the kind of stuff. So the algorithms hack our brain in a way that says, hey, you might want to look at this. But I don't know about you, I've noticed lately it's not just the quantity of stuff and the overload on our brain, it's the quality of it as well. I don't often come off social media feeling good about myself. So it's a lot of negative stuff that's on there, or a lot of hate and division, or just stuff that leads us down that comparison trap where all of a sudden everybody's life is perfect except ours. So it's also that impact it has on our mood as well.
Jess, Stuart, lovely to have you in. Thank you so much for joining us
Pleasure.
today. I'm sure we can talk plenty more about this, throughout the show.
Definitely. Well,